Okay, shalom. Incredible Torah portion, very mystical, very esoterical, Parashah Vayishlach. And let's just get straight into this. We're going to be having a look at the Hebrew, and we're going to also be looking at the syntax of some of the Hebrew verses, because there's so many secrets hidden that is open for unique interpretation. And we believe that we are of the house of Yosef. Yosef is represented by the phrase Sion, because they've both got the same gematria, 156, and it says the Torah shall go forth from Sion. Okay, so Yosef, the house of Yosef, has got a tremendous amount of Torah to contribute, and have got an incredible advantage, because we have got the revelation of the truth regarding Mashiach ben Yosef, Yeshua HaMashiach.
Okay. To a lot of my friends, you wouldn't see this in English.
No.
I just spotted one thing in English that made me ask the question. And after asking the question, we delved into lots of stuff.
Yeah.
And so, if we don't know the Hebrew language, we cannot always see. Well, maybe we shouldn't call it mystical, but hidden for us to find. These secrets are hidden for us to find when we diligently seek. He reveals it to us.
Yes, it does.
Hallelujah. And we're starting in...
we're not going from the very beginning, although it is wonderful. We're going to be starting from chapter 32, verse 25.
Well, 24 in my Bible. So
24, huh?
Yeah, okay. And Yaakov was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day.
Alat hashachar, the rising of the dawn.
Not Bokatov.
Not Bokatov.
Okay.
Hashachar, the dawn. Shachar.
Until the rising of the day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint, and he wrestled with him. He said, let me go, for a day breaketh. He saith, I will not let you go, except thou bless me.
Right, can I just stop there?
Yeah.
It says he had his thigh touched. Okay? His hip touched, which is yerech. But also, it talks about when Yaakov is going down into Egypt, and it lists the 70 families of it lists the 70 families of Jacob. Yeah, it mentions that here it says, and all the souls that were coming belonging to Yaakov to Egypt, Yotze Yericho Milvad. It's really Yotze Yericho, that issued from. It really says in Hebrew that issued out from his hip. So we know the word hip can sometimes be used as a synonym for the male anatomy. This issued from his hip, yet it's called his loins. So when it says he touched his hip, we pointed this out. Yaakov never had any more children. Binyamin had not been born yet. Benjamin had not been born yet, but Rachel had already conceived Benjamin at this point. So you imagine a man that was touched on the hip, the Yerech, Kaf Yerech Yaakov. He was touched on the hip, yet we're told as they're going down into Egypt that these were the 70 that came out from his hip or out from his thigh. So there is some kind of connection. This angel wrestled with him, and we also know that it's connected to the whole concept of the Gid Hanasheh, which is the sciatic nerve that runs down from the spinal cord all the way down the leg, because we're told that the children of Israel do not eat that from the animal. And in order for meat to be kosher, even if it's kosher meat, generally, unless you have a specific butcher that's able to separate the sciatic nerve from the actual meat, in a kosher shop you wouldn't get sold meat that was from the hind quarter of an animal, and none of the steaks that come from the back. So that's something to bear in mind also, and that's a commandment of the Torah, not to eat the sciatic nerve. And if you are eating meat from the back of the animal, there's no guarantees unless you are a butcher yourself or know specifically where that sciatic nerve runs, and it's very difficult to separate the meat from the sciatic nerve. It won't be classed as kosher according to Torah, so that is something to bear in mind. We've got to make an effort only to eat the kosher meat from the front of the animal.
And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint, as he wrestled with him. And he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go. Now this is Jacob. I will not let you go, except thou bless me. And so the man said to him,
and he said to him,
what's thy name? What thy name? I have in English.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, this is a comma here. And he said unto him, comma, and what happens to have a capital W? And I thought, well, this is not the start of a new sentence, so why is it a capital W? What thy name? Is in italics. What thy name? Was he saying, what is your name? And he said unto him, what is thy name? And he said, Yaakov. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Yaakov, but Yisrael. For as a prince hast thou power with Elohim, and with men hast prevailed.
Okay. No, because we need to talk about this. Going back to what Paul's just said, it says, like it says in verse 28, is that the same for you? Because we have got
27, verse 27.
You're in 27. Yeah. Okay, so in the Hebrew scriptures, it's verse 28 of 32, and in yours, it's 27. In the normal, ordinary English translations, it's most likely 28. So, this angel that's been fighting until the break of dawn, and finally it's looking like Yaakov is prevailing, and Yaakov suffered the touching of the hip in this wrestle, this struggle, and Yaakov refuses to let this angel go except that it bless him. And he says, the angel says to Yaakov, Ma Shemecha, what is your name? And as it is highlighted in the King James, that what is written with a capital W, a capital letter, to indicate that it's actually a name. And this is partly what the sages are saying. And certainly you could read this through in the Hebrew as what, literally the name what is your name. The angel's telling Yaakov, what is your name? Now that doesn't mean a great deal to anybody much, except in the Hebrew, the letters what, the word what are the letters Mem Hey. Now this is when it gets interesting, because they've got a numerical value of 45. And the numerical value of 45 is exactly the same as Adam. More significantly, however, the holy name of YHWH can be filled what's called the milieu, the filling out of the holy name, when the Vav is filled with an aleph and the He is filled with an aleph, each letter as it actually sounds. So Yod would be Yod Vav Daleth, Yod, He, Aleph, Vav, Vav Aleph Vav, and He, Aleph. And if we add all those numbers up, what's called the filling out, the pregnant name of Yod He Waw He, we get the value 45. Yod He Vav He, which is 20 plus 6 plus 13 plus 6, which equals 45. And this is an incredibly significant name because there are some souls that are rooted at that level, that have got a very, very high merit to gain a level of soul that is at the level of this name spelt this way. And we can read this in the book of the Zohar. Some of the secret teachings that have been left to us. Lots of people are quite suspicious when it comes to the Zohar, but you won't fully understand the concept of the Mashiach without the secrets that have been hidden away in some of these books. And certainly not for things like this, understanding what's written in the Hebrew and the significance of it, because this angel was not just saying anything. This wrestle was not just for anything. It was for Yaakov to attain a highest level of soul possible. Okay, so in the book of Zohar, in Mishpatim, the section called Mishpatim, it talks about if you buy a Hebrew servant. Now, some of the sages say the angel that Yaakov was wrestling with is an angel called Metatron. I've talked about this a lot in my own personal teachings. It's a very, very complicated concept, is Metatron. Okay, it's talked about in the book of Enoch, I do believe, also. But it's a very complicated concept because there are some teachings that use the word Metatron when really we should be thinking in terms of the Mashiach. But the Zohar is the text within the secret esoteric teachings of Judaism that, to me, clarifies the concept of Metatron the most appropriately. And Metatron is a very powerful angel. And this is, according to the sages, the angel that Yaakov was fighting to. It's not the only opinion. Some say it's the angel, the guardian angel of Asaph, who is Satan himself. But even that, there's connection to Satan being, Metatron being half Michael, the advocate, and half Satan. Okay, and that's a whole complicated thing, not going to go into now. But in this particular section of the Zohar, it talks about this very powerful high level of soul called what, essentially, the level of what, the Mem Hey. And it first of all starts about telling you the different levels of soul that build up if you merit this particular soul. But first of all, it distinguishes souls that are at the level of the Hebrew servant, that are still working 6 years to serve under Metatron, essentially. Metatron represents the 6 working days. And as we know, Mashiach ben Yosef represents the Shabbat. He's the master of the Shabbat. So there's some souls that are still at the level of the 6 working days, and they're under a slave master to a certain degree. And I'm not going to go through all that, but there are souls that, it says here, but if a soul is from the aspect of the Shekinah, which is the seventh day, and it's also the Malkuth of Aksiluth, then this is a higher level of soul. And then it goes on to mention about other levels of soul, like your son, your daughter, your manservant, and your maidservant. And then it talks about the king's only daughter, the daughter of the king, which is another higher level of soul. And then it goes on even higher, the king's daughter, the king's only daughter. And then finally it talks about if he further merits, he is given a nefesh of the path of Atzilut. So this is the highest level of soul, some of the highest levels of soul possible. Then it talks about something very interesting. It says, if he gains further merit, i.e., we are able to attain levels of soul, probably because we've struggled, like Yaakov struggled, against the forces of evil to refine them in some way and to transform the darkness into light. We're given higher and higher levels of soul on account of the work and the effort that we make to overcome the powers of evil. Because if he gains further merit, he's given a nefesh of the part of Atziluth, from the part of the only daughter called the king's daughter, namely Malkuth of Atziluth. If he is more meritorious, he is given a ruach of Atziluth from the side of the central pillar that is there and pin. And he is called a child, a son of the Holy One, blessed be he. So at that point, that's a high enough level of soul to be called the son of the Holy One, blessed be he, or a son of God. This is the meaning of you are the children of Yahuwah, your Elohim, from Devarim 14:1. If he has more merit, so the son of God or the children of God is one level, and there's even higher than that, and this is what Yaakov ultimately attains. It says, if he has more merit, he's given a neshama from the aspect of Abba and Ima, which are Bina, as written and breathed into the nostrils, the breath of life, literally neshama of life. That's from Bereshit 2:7. What is life? It is Yah, which are Abba and Ima. So the holy name of Yah, as in Hallelujah, contains what's called Abba and Ima, which are wisdom and understanding. Okay, holy wisdom and holy understanding. And it says, which is life, which is Yah, which are Abba and Ima, of whom it says, let everything that has breath praise Yah. Let everything that has neshama praise Yah. This is a level of soul. And then it goes on, it says, with them the name of Yod He Vav He is completed. For the Ruach and the Nefesh of Atzilut are Vav and He, and the Neshama of Atzilut is Yod He, thus forming together Yod He Vav He. So we have revealed within us the name of Yod He Vav He. Just as the Mashiach says, you will not see me again until you say, Baruch haba b'shem Yod He Vav He, Yahuwah. Baruch haba b'shem Yahuwah. Blessed is he who comes in the name of Yod He Vav He. We've got to reveal that. We've also got to reveal that that was the very purpose of the Mashiach's coming, as one who comes in the name. But you can merit even further. You can merit even higher than to just reveal the name. You can reveal the filling out of the name. It says if he has more merit, he is given Yod He Vav He, fully spelled. Thus, you've got Yod Vav Dalet for the Yod, He aleph for the He, Vav aleph Vav for the Vav, and He aleph, which is the secret of man, which numerical value is 45 in the upper way of Atziluth. Atziluth is the world of emanation. So we're talking about where pure godliness is able to emanate into us. This is there and pin when he is a garment to supernal Abba and Ima, which is the secret of Chokhmah, which is spelled with the same letters as those of the power of Mem Hey. So what this is saying is the word Chokhmah, which means wisdom. So the wisdom that Yod He Vav He desires to bestow upon us, that very word Chokhmah can be broken down into two words, koach ma. Koach ma, the power of what? The power of what?
What?
Yeah, as in this name, Shmecha Ma.
The power of what?
The power of what?
What
So,
is
yeah,
thy name?
Yeah,
What is thy name?
yeah, exactly. This is
What is thy name?
Yeah, Ma Shmecha. What is your name? So
No,
this is
no.
why?
What is your name?
Yeah, and this is exactly why in the King James version the what is in capitals because it's telling you it's a name.
What did you say about power now?
The word koach is wisdom in Hebrew.
Yeah.
And it can be broken down into two words. Yeah. Koach, which means power.
Yeah.
Koach is power.
Yeah.
So it can be brought down into the power of what.
Yes.
And what is specifically filling out of the holy name of YHWH.
Hey.
And we're talking about it now.
Yeah, do you know?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know, Stephanie, how when we do this together,
yeah,
we hear from the Ruach HaKodesh, don't we?
Yes.
I want you to know, I've just heard something, and it's going to be really good.
Go on then, love. You should I just fill out what this means?
But come back to the power after. Right?
Yeah. Okay. So when we have attained this level, like what Yaakov attained here, there's this is when he becomes Yasharel. By the way, straight to El. No angelic intermediaries left. Yasharel means straight to El, straight to God. No intermediaries guarding over you, keeping you under the law. Keeping you subject to entities such as Metatron. We have complete and total face-to-face union with El himself, YHWH himself. And when we attain this status, when we attain, our soul attains this level, like what Yaakov, it would appear in a mystical way, has attained here, then this is what we are able to then do. It says after he is named, he is named after the image of his master, which is YHWH, and it says of him, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, from Bereshith 1:28. He has the power throughout the firmaments over all the wheels, the Sephirim, and the living creatures, and over all the hosts and legions above and below. Hence, when one merits the nefesh of the aspect of the only daughter, it says of him, he shall not go out as the maidservants do. So that's talking about the progression that we make for our souls from the aspect of the only daughter, which we talked about right up from the beginning. So you start off with a soul at a certain level and you're building up because you're like wrestling through the night with all the forces that are possibly represented by the Satan himself. You're wrestling against all the forces of the evil inclination, all the forces of our own evil, and all the powers of Satan. And it would appear, as the sages say, this is somehow connected to Metatron, which it is. And our wrestling against these very powerful forces helps us to reveal our own power. Our own power within. The power of what? Yeah. The power of who we have been made, in whose image in who we have been made.
What power?
The power of what?
What power?
Yes.
The power of what?
Yeah. And I wonder why electricity is called in watts.
Well, there we come into something, aren't we?
Yeah.
Powerful, isn't it?
It's powerful, isn't it? So these are very secret teachings, but it's there written in the Torah before us.
Yeah.
And we've got to have eyes to see. We've got to understand what is the significance of this. And even the King James itself is indicating there's something in this name, what, as it wouldn't have had a capital letter, indicating it's an actual name. Okay, have you got something to say then regarding this, love?
I have what to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I just want to read this again. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Yaakov, but Yashrel. For as a prince hadst thou power. I like power. You know, I'm an ex-Pentecostal, and I got lots of expression when it comes to power. But I know I was drunk on that. I've sobered up. I keep Shabbat. I keep Torah, and it's all coming into a good mishpat in my life now. And praise Yah for the work of the Torah in a man's life. Once, you know, a man comes to Torah a different way, instead of coming to Torah and then to more study and understanding, I found the Mashiach, and he brought me to Torah, and it's just a different way to come to the same places where everybody is coming to at the cusp of this millennial reign, where we already need to know who we are.
Yeah, we can't mess about anymore.
No, we can't mess it up.
We've been held back and suppressed, made to believe we're nothing. What we were talking about, we can attain a level of soul through our struggle with the forces of evil that actually reveals the power of the Holy Name within us.
What power?
The power of the Holy Name.
I'm going to tell you now.
On earth as it is in heaven.
What power? I'm going to tell you now.
Go on then, Lord.
Now, it's the woman's seed that's going to bruise Shatan's head. Is that, am I right? It's the woman's seed that's going to bruise Shatan's head, Satan's head. Listen to this. No more Yaakov, but Yashrael. For as a prince hast thou power with Elohim and with men, and hast prevailed. Okay, let's just look at this prince. Sarah, the seed of the woman. It is at Yitzhak is the seed of the woman. The seed of the woman is the power, the Besorah.
Yeah, that's
the
incredible.
Besorah is the power with man and God.
Yeah. Say look, what Besorah is, love.
Besorah is the good news or the glad tidings that the Mashiach brings.
Besorah.
Besorah.
It is in Sarah. And this word prince comes...
And power. Prince and
power. Comes
Sarah.
From Sarah.
Okay. What is thy name? You said it's two words.
Yeah.
Kok, and...
It's
Koach
Ma, the power of Ma.
Power of
Ma, the power of the name of Yod He Vav He filled out to the value of 45, which is equivalent to Ma, the numerical value of what? Ma. And Adam as well. The numerical value of Adam is 45.
No more Yaakov, but Yashrael. Yes. For as Sarah hast thou power with Elohim and with men. Look. And the Besorah has prevailed. This is what has prevailed.
Yes.
The Sarah, the seed in her, is the power, how we've prevailed with Elohim and with man. This is the posture we need to beef up in to face the world and let them know who reigns in this creation. Yashrael. Yeah. Yashrael reigns in this creation.
We have to reveal the power of that name, that what within us.
What?
We need to reveal the power of the name, the holy name within us. We've got to desire to struggle against all these forces, because look at the promise. We need this now. And he is named after the image of his master. And as it says of him, and have dominion over the fish of the sea. If we don't take dominion over the fish of the sea in the name of Yeshua, who comes in the name of the Father, who's going to have dominion over the fish of the sea? It says he has power throughout the firmaments. That's all the rakia, all the firmaments, over all the wheels. The wheels of the Panim. These are different levels of ministering angels, the seraphim and the living creatures, the chayot. So these are all the powerful levels of angels. We have dominion over them and over all the hosts and legions above and below. Okay, this is what we're trying to aspire to. And we've got to reveal the power of this name through struggling with all the forces of deception.
Tell me, sweet.
Yeah.
Yashrael.
Yeah.
Yod.
Yeah. Shin.
Sarah. El.
Yeah, there is a Sar in there.
Ya. Sar.
Yeah.
El.
Yeah.
Straight.
Yeah.
Sarah with Elohim.
Yeah.
Straight.
Yeah.
But Sora with Elohim.
Yeah.
Got it? You should no longer be called Yaakov.
Yeah.
But you will be called Yasharel, the seed of the woman with Elohim. The power of the seed of the woman with Elohim, which bruises Metatron, Shaton, and all the other guys.
So overcomes and subdues the forces of evil, so that it's no longer in dominion. Where we should be in dominion, because we have revealed Yasharel within us. We have revealed our own straightness. We have revealed the power of the name of YHWH fully filled out at that level within us. We have attained that level of soul.
As we're talking here intimately in the things of our Father, we should really see what the difference between what and be is. Be what? What? Be?
Yeah,
you know
to be, to exist, to yesh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
There's powerful connections with Yeshra'el, the existence, isn't there? Yasharel.
And here we have power prevailing with the Besorah. The Besorah prevails. You know, the Besorah is the fullness of the Torah, really. The Besorah is the living Torah. It's the Torah in action. It's Torah in our life. It's what we manifest.
Yeah.
It's the great glad tidings of Yehovah.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
And just listen to this then. So this is where we're going to end with this one. It says, then Yaakov asked, and he said, tell now your name. Talking to the angel. This God, this angel, by the way, is so high and exalted. It's actually called Elohim, with gods. Okay, and I've talked about that in my own teachings before. Because there's lots of concepts of God that we have to fight to establish true knowledge of the true God, the God of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, the God of Yisrael. There's a lot of false understanding of who God is before we enter into his holy presence and true knowledge of him. We've got to wrestle sometimes with our false knowledge. So now Yaakov says to the angel, tell now your name. And he said, Lama ze tish'al lishmi vayvarech oto sham. It says, and he said, why is it that you ask for my name? And he blessed him, Yaakov, there. So now Yaakov asked for the angel's name. And what did the angel say? In the Hebrew, he said, Lamazeh, Lamazeh. And even the sages say this was the name of the angel. Going back to the King James, it actually puts this also in capital letters. What for, wherefore is it that thou dost ask? So the name wherefore is also in capitals to let you know it's an actual name. The sages say it's an actual name. Lamazeh, it means for what is it, or it is, for what it is. And he's really saying your name is what, but in order to reveal this name, in order to reveal this secret name, what, that is really the name of YHWH, filled out at this incredible level of soul, where you've got dominion over the fish of the sea and the firmaments and all the other angels and all the hosts of heaven in heaven and on earth. You take dominion as your most perfected self. Okay? The reason why I existed, my name is for what is it? Meaning, I was here to wrestle with you so that you could become everything you needed to be. My purpose as an angel was to serve God. YHWH wanted to reveal in you this power. The power of what? I only existed to wrestle with you until you revealed in you the power that YHWH wanted revealing. So what's the name of the angel? For what is it? Meaning, I only exist for what? I exist for what? Who's the what? Yaakov's the what? For what it is. And this is something we've got to bear in mind, and it's all there in the Hebrew. You just have to have eyes to see it and the right sort of knowledge to be able to break down.
Hallelujah.
And the clues are there, even in the King James Version, the clues are there for all of us.
You don't need too much.
No.
You can do it. You can do it. Praise you.
Yeah, so it's all very interesting stuff. Bear this in mind, because we're entering days now where we're coming to a place of redemption from a very long exile. From a very long exile in lies and fantasy and false knowledge and false Mashiach and false Torah. We're coming out of that exile, and we are going to be, it's going to be revealed to us our true identity as Yasharel, and we will see Mashiach come again. Why? Because we know what it is that's coming. We're able to say the words Baruch haba b'shem YHWH with knowledge.
Amen.
Okay, with that we'll say shalom.
Shalom.